It's time for Super Bowl 59. Let's talk Eagles and Chiefs. What's going on, everyone? Welcome back in to another episode for Just a Bet Outside. I am your host, Steven, and we have made it to the final game of the NFL season. I can't believe it's already gone, but here we are, Super Bowl 59, Eagles and Chiefs, a repeat of 2 years ago. Can the Chiefs make history for a three-peat? Can the Eagles get their revenge? We will talk about that and much, much more. But before we start, of course, any graphics you see in this video will be from an app called OUTLIER. It's the best betting research tool on the market today. I use it every single day. If you guys want to try it out, click that link below. You get a 7-day free trial. But let's get into it and end this season with a dad joke. So here we go. There's a fine line between a numerator and a denominator. Only a fraction of people will get this joke. That's all I got. In this video, we're going to go over a lot, guys. We're going to give a championship weekend recap. We'll do that real quick. No one really cares, but playoffs are kicking my butt. They just are. So it is what it is. But we'll go over that quick recap. And then we're going to preview the game. And then I'm going to give you my best game bet for the video. And then we're going to go over my 3 best player props for this game. And then the 2 best anytime touchdowns. And we'll finish it with one fun bet to just wrap it up. But we got a lot to get into. We're going to just go big or go home here in the Super Bowl. So, of course, we'll finish it with the recap with all those bets. But hit that like button if you haven't already. Leave a comment below to help this channel continue to grow. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button as we're on our way to 40,000 subscribers. The support you guys have given us all NFL season long, it does not go unnoticed. We really, really appreciate it. It's been a wild journey in our 3rd NFL season on the channel. But let's finish it with the Super Bowl. But before we get into that game, let's check out the recap. All right, here it is, the championship round recap. Again, when I say the playoffs are kicking my butt, I mean it. I've had some rough beats and some bad reads. It is what it is. But as you can see, regular season had a pretty decent season, up 11.05 units. But so far in the playoffs, it has not been pretty. 8-15, down 3.92. To me, that just means we're due, right? We got to end it with a bang in the Super Bowl. So hopefully we can bounce back. But Washington, Philly recap. Commanders team total over 20.5. We cashed that pretty easily. Austin Eckler over 21.5 yards of receiving yards. I think he had 3 or 4 catches. They were just all for no yards. I mean, the volume was there. It was just one of those games. Didn't get the yards. A.J. Brown under was a terrible read. He wasn't included in much in the offense, but he just flat out dominates Washington, and I should have taken that into account, and that was a loss. Buffalo KC recap. This did not go well. Dalton Kincaid was never even looked at, really. I mean, he had 2 catches, I believe, but he just wasn't looked at. I mean, Josh Allen was looking pretty much all over the field except his way. But again, he had a ball on 4th down in the 4th quarter, went off his hands, he catches it, and that's a green check mark. So it is what it is. Josh Allen, anytime touchdown, just did not get the job done as they go home, losing to the Chiefs yet again. So that's what we got for the championship round recap. Again, after a losing weekend, I just have to believe that means we are due. So let's get some winners. But it is now that time. Let's talk Super Bowl 59. All right, before we get to that game, though, we got to tell you about a great promo with DraftKings right now. It's for new customers only. All you got to do is click the link below in the description to sign up. Once you're done with that, you deposit $10 and you bet $5. It doesn't matter what happens with that $5. You get $200 instantly in bonus bets. It is a great deal, limited time only. I always recommend if you can get multiple sports books, it can really help you with all the odds and line shopping and things like that. So take advantage of this now with DraftKings by clicking that link below. But of course, you must be 21 years or older to gamble. If you have a gambling problem, call or text 1-800-GAMBLER. All right, here we go. We are heading out to New Orleans, where the Chiefs host the Philadelphia Eagles for Super Bowl 59. Chiefs minus 1.5. Total in this one is 48.5. And before we get to the preview and all these best bets, we have a special appearance from Ryan from behind the scenes.
Thank you, Steven, and more importantly, thank you, Jabbo family. This has just been absolutely incredible. Almost 40,000 subscribers. I know I'm not on camera and talking much anymore, but I'm still here every single night helping, editing, and getting videos out for you guys. So in this game, man, let's say it together. Fly, Eagles, fly. Okay, I'm not making a bet or anything because honestly, how do you bet against Mahomes, especially in playoffs and Super Bowls? It's just impossible. But the team I like would be the Eagles. I got a friend that is a huge Eagles fan, so I'd just love to see that victory. Now, let's get back to the bets, and let's get back to Steven.
All right, we got a rematch of 2 years ago in the Super Bowl. Credit to both franchises for making it back. This is not easy to do. I'll tell you that. The Chiefs are just unbelievable right now. But the last Super Bowl meeting, Eagles were up 24-14 at halftime, up 27-21 after 3 quarters, and then they got Mahomes, outscored 17-8 in the 4th quarter, and lost 38-35 in a high-scoring game. Now, this is crazy, but the Chiefs have been down by double digits in the last 2 Super Bowls. So if they fall down by double digits, It might be a good live bet to bet them in the money line. But past the Super Bowl, Chiefs beat the Houston Texans 23-14, then beat Buffalo 32-29. Eagles beat the Packers 22-10, beat the Rams 28-22, and then smoked the Commanders 55-23. Injuries, not a ton of injuries other than what we know already. Only questionable tag is backup running back Kenneth Gainwell for Philly. Guys like Rashee Rice, McCole Hardman, James Bradbury, Nakobe Dean for the Eagles. Those last two are still out. And on this one, the Sharps are all over the Chiefs. In case you care, doesn't mean they're going to win, but I just want to let you know some Mahomes trends. Mahomes 16-0 straight up as a favorite this year, 95-22 straight up in his career as a favorite, 13-3 straight up as a favorite in the playoffs, which is insane. Mahomes is also a perfect 8-0 versus Vic Fangio. If you don't know, he is the defensive coordinator of the Eagles, either as a head coach or defensive coordinator. Mahomes is 8-0 against Vic Fangio. Only here do you get that kind of useless information. Now, let's get into my best bet. I have one best bet before we get to the player props. It's the Eagles team total over 23.5 at -120 on Bet365. It's going to be a one-unit play for me. This doesn't necessarily mean I think the Eagles are going to win. Honestly, a side is really tough here. I think the Eagles are more talented overall, but it's the Chiefs. They know how to win, and there is something to be said about Andy Reid and Mahomes and Kelsey and all these guys. So it's hard to go against them. So I'm going to take an Eagles team total. I think they score some points here. First of all, the game has great conditions because it's indoors in a dome. Gotta love that. Second, this run game, you guys already know it's the best in the NFL with Saquon, 118 plus rush yards in 5 straight games. It's insane. He's averaging almost 6 yards per carry. I've never seen anything like it. I mean, I think I've seen Adrian Peterson have a year like this, but it's just crazy what we are witnessing right now with this run offense and what Saquon is doing. The Chiefs' run defense, it is not pretty lately. They've really struggled last 3 games, not counting Week 18 with all the backups. Gave up 85 yards and 18 carries to James Cook, 88 yards and 18 carries to Joe Mixon, 145 on 24 carries combined to Najee Harris and Jalen Warren. And now they face an elite O-line and the best run game in the NFL. It's going to be tough. They are going to have to slow him down, obviously. I just don't know how they're going to. One way would be maybe loading the box. But you know what that's going to do? Leave one-on-one opportunities with A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith on the outside. Not to mention Kansas City is the worst defense versus tight ends, which we will talk about later. Spagnuolo likes to play a lot of man-to-man defense. Hurts is going to have his chances down the field if he can make some big splash plays. But Eagles have played 6 games with the big 3 pass catchers. That's A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, and Dallas Goedert. They have gone over this line in 5 of those 6 games, averaging 31.29 points per game. It's just absolutely crazy. Actually, it's 7 games. They've gone over in 5 of 7. This offense can beat you multiple ways. They know how to score some points. So overall, Eagles averaging 28.4 points per game this season, over in 13 of 18 games with Jalen Hurts at quarterback, now facing a struggling run defense. And maybe this Kansas City run defense, makes adjustments and figures out a way to slow him down. We have not seen it. We don't know what the Eagles offense even looks like when Saquon gets slowed down because it just hasn't happened in a while. But we are inside on a fast track. I think Saquon's going to make some big plays. If not, I think they can make some big plays in the passing game. And if the Chiefs just somehow figure out a way to score over and over, then it's going to be more of a track meet, which will also lead to more scoring, maybe more passes, things like that. We'll see how it goes. But either way, I think this line is a little too low. So I like getting it under the key number of 24. Give me the Eagles team total over 23.5 points. I also like the full game in this, or full game over in this one as well. But that's my game bet. Now let's talk some player props. All right, this first player prop is an under. Give me Isaiah Pacheco under 31.5 rush plus receiving yards at -115 on Bet365. This is a half unit play I gave out on Wednesday on Discord. If you can only get 30.5, I still love it there. This is now Kareem Hunt's backfield if you don't know. Let's dive into Outlier now and look at some more numbers on this bet. So here we go. The last 5 games is what we're going to look at. He is under in 4 straight. No more than 25 combined yards in the last 4 games. It has not been pretty for him. That Cleveland game was the last game that he had with decent volume, and you saw he went over. But let's scroll down and kind of dive more into these numbers and why I like it. Let's start out with rush attempts first. So you click on rush attempts, you can see the last 4 games. It's not pretty, guys. 9, 6, 5, and 5 rush attempts the last 4 games. And then if you see his rush attempts line, it's set at 5.5 for this game for a reason. Kareem Hunt's line, in case you're curious, is 11.5, and he had 17 carries last game. I mean, it's not even close. Let's go to percentage of rush share now. 23% and 14% in the last 2 playoff games. Just insanely low. Now, if we look at receptions and targets numbers right now, no more than 2 targets in any game, 1 or less reception in 4 of the last 5. I mean, guys, there's just no volume there for him. Average yards per rush attempt. Let's take a look at that one now. Only averaging 2.9 yards per carry in the last 5 games. There's a reason he's not getting many carries. It's because he's not very effective with his runs. Hunt is averaging 4 yards per attempt, in case you're curious. So those are all the numbers, what's been happening in the last 5 games. Now let's look at the matchup over there. The Eagles versus running backs. How about top 10, both rush and receiving yards allowed to running backs? We know they're elite. This can be a tough matchup. So that's some of the numbers. Now let's talk some more. Pacheco, his snap count. He was only 16 and 19 the last 2 playoff games. That's 31% and 29%. Not rush share. That's just a snap count being on the field. Kareem Hunt's snap share, 47 and 58% the last 2 games. Not even close. Samaje Perine, even 22% and 15%. You're not going to usually see Pacheco out there for many pass plays. Usually it's Perine and Kareem Hunt out there. But for a guy struggling to get 3 yards per carry and should get around 5 carries with maybe 1 catch, this number is just too high. He could always just break one, some busted coverage in the defense or anything like that, but I'm going to take my chances. So give me Pacheco under 31.5 rush plus receiving yards as my first player prop. All right, it's time for the second player prop, and I got Dallas Goedert 50 plus receiving yards, minus 118 on FanDuel, 4.5 unit. Got this on Wednesday. You guys know how I feel about tight ends versus the Chiefs, but let's talk Goddard. Over in 5 of the last 10 games, but he's been better lately. Over in 3 of the last 4, 55, 56, and 85 yards in those 3 overs. That 85 yards was just last week. 7 receptions on 8 targets for those 85 yards. Last 5 games, he's averaging 4.4 receptions on 5.6 targets, 19% target share, averaging 12.7 yards per reception. Big yards after catch guy, averaging 34.2 yards after catch the last 5 games. An average day for him is 4 catches, 13 yards per catch. That alone just puts him at 52 yards. But this is no average matchup. That's right. This is the Chiefs. They have allowed the most receiving yards to tight ends in the entire NFL. There is no better matchup out there. Goddard leads all tight ends in yards per route run versus man coverage. And we know Spagnuolo and these Chiefs love to run some man coverage. Tight ends versus the Chiefs. We talked about this before. 10 of the last 13 tight ends have 40 plus receiving yards versus the Chiefs. 4 of the last 6 have 50 or more receiving yards. Only 2 unders in those last 6 weeks were Schultz with 45 and Jordan Akins with 30. Jordan Akins is not on the same realm as Dallas Goedert. Even Stone Smart had 54 receiving yards. Ja'Tavion Sanders had 49 against them. I know it's a Super Bowl playoffs. You play it different, but Dallas Goedert is one of the best tight ends in the league. And I expect KC's game plan. This is just my opinion. I'm not in the meetings. I know I tried to get in there. They did not invite me, but they're going to slow down Saquon. And then the second priority is probably going to be slow down Saquon yet again. And then make sure AJ Brown doesn't beat them deep. And then you got Devontae Smith as well. I mean, I think Dallas Goedert's going to see some good looks in the middle of the field. Obviously, we know he's one of Jalen Hurts' preferred targets. Just had 8 targets last week. So I think we see KC struggle yet again defending the tight end. I think this number is a little too low. So give me D-God for 50 plus receiving yards as my second favorite player prop. All right, this third one is another under. That's right. Give me Jahan Dotson under a half a reception at plus 106 on FanDuel. This is a half unit play. Who doesn't want to root for a guy to get 0 catches? I mean, this is like Tim Hardaway Jr. under a half a steal and block like we do in the NBA. This is going to be a sweat all the way to the end. So let's talk Dotson here. He's a number 3 wide receiver in an offense that just isn't a high passing volume offense, as we all know. He has 1 reception so far in 3 playoff games, 0 catches in the last 2 weeks. In the last 6 weeks, we're not counting week 18 when all the starters sat, he has 1 reception on 3 total targets in the last 6 weeks. I mean, it's insane. The fact that we're getting plus money is pretty sweet here. But Eagles offense, Saquon will obviously get a ton of carries, 20 plus carries. He's going to be a huge part of it. And then you got AJ Brown, Devontae Smith are going to have chances against this defense. And as you heard, I like Dallas Goedert to get a lot of targets and receptions in this one as well. But there isn't a lot more to this one, with Hurts expected to complete about 17 passes according to the line. I don't think Jahan Dotson is a guy they're going to be looking at. Obviously it takes one lucky play, a scramble play when he's on the field, which isn't very often, and he just gets open or something like that. But I'm going to take my chances. So give me Jahan Dotson under a half a catch at plus 106 on FanDuel. That is my third and final player prop. And now let's talk some anytime touchdowns. All right, we got 2 of these. Let's cash some anytime touchdown bets. The first one, Kareem Hunt, anytime touchdown, plus 145 on FanDuel. It's a quarter unit. Both are going to be a quarter unit. As you guys know, I like to be conservative with touchdown bets, but I think the books are sleeping on him. I was mad that I didn't take him last week because I was so close to doing it. Hunt, like I mentioned before, is taking over this backfield. He now has a touchdown in 4 straight games that we're getting plus 145. 38% red zone rush share in the last 5 games. In the 2 playoff games, Hunt has played 10 snaps in goal-to-go situations. Pacheco, 3. I mean, it's not even close. Matchup, very tough matchup here, but it's built into the line. That's why we're getting plus 145 for a guy who's the number 1 running back and who is been getting touchdowns every single week, it seems like. So Eagles have given up the second fewest touchdowns to running backs, only 5 allowed. But you know what? The Texans were not far behind. They've given up the 6th fewest touchdowns to running backs. Hunt has played the Texans twice in the last 4 weeks, had a touchdown in both games. So I'm not too worried about the matchup because, like I said, I think that's why we're getting plus 145. So I like Hunt to find the end zone yet again. The second one, it's our boy, Dallas Goedert, anytime touchdown, plus 350 on Bet365 for a quarter unit. We talked about the Chiefs' struggles already versus the tight end position. These odds are insane. This is just one of those where when I saw plus 350 on Bet365, I'm like, we have to jump. We just have no choice here. My hands are tied. What can I say? But he has the most targets in the playoffs for the Eagles. In case you don't know that, this guy is the most targeted pass catcher for the Eagles in the playoffs. He started out slow, but does now have this season. I mean, he does now have 2 touchdowns in the last 4 games, not counting Week 18. With everyone, zoned in on Hurts and Saquon and AJ Brown and all these guys, I like taking a shot here in a good matchup versus Chiefs defense. So give me Goddard at plus 350 and Kareem Hunt at plus 145 as my 2 anytime touchdown bets. And now let's talk a fun little game prop for the Super Bowl. All right, let's have some fun and throw 2 game props out there for the Super Bowl. As you guys know, there's a ton of fun things to bet on in this game. I got 2 of them. We're not going to track this in official record or anything. We're just going to have some fun. But the first one, any kick to hit the uprights, plus 550 on DraftKings. I believe we had a doink off the uprights 2 Super Bowls ago. We also had one doink in the wild card round. I think it was Zane Gonzalez did it. Here's my analysis. There is nothing more exciting than a ball bouncing off the upright and you jump off the couch and you just scream loudly because you are jacked that you just won some money and no one has any clue why you just jumped off the couch. But either way, that's what I got. Plus 550. Why not take a shot at it? I just need a kick to hit the upright. That's it. The second one. How about an octopus? That's right. We're saying yes for an octopus at plus 1,040. If you don't know what that is, that it means the same player scores a touchdown and 2-point conversion following. 9 players have scored an octopus this season. Saquon was one of those 9. Hurts had one last time he faced Kansas City, actually. These teams, especially the Eagles, like to go for 2. They don't mind it. Why not take a chance? I mean, we're talking plus 1,000, guys. So that's what I got. Any kick to hit the uprights and an octopus. I mean, that's just great analysis right there. But that's all my bets for Super Bowl 59. Hopefully we have a great game here. But before we get out of here, let's check out the recap. All right, here it is. All the Super Bowl 59 best bets, a total of about 3.5 units on it. But Eagles team total over 23.5. That's the 1 unit play. Pacheco under 31.5 rush plus receiving for a half unit. I also like 30.5. Goddard 50 plus receiving yards for a half unit. Jahan Dotson under a half a reception. That's right, at plus 106. And then we got Kareem Hunt anytime touchdown and Dallas Goedert anytime touchdown. And then we sprinkle on just some fun bets here at the end. Any kick to hit the upright, plus 550. An octopus, yes, for plus 1040. Why not, right? But again, like we've all said, like Ryan said earlier, thank you guys so much for the support this NFL season. I appreciate it. We look forward to coming back next year as well. But obviously, we're still going to be doing NBA every single day, MLB all summer long as well. So thanks again for the support. Hope you all enjoy the Super Bowl, and we'll talk to you soon.